Hi, this is Dave Gentry here at the Harvard Club, the RedChip Money Report. I have Tony Rotondo, the CEO of First Surgical and one of the founders of First Surgical, which is an ambulatory surgical center, outpatient surgical centers in Texas. Tony, thanks for being here today.
Dave, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. Tell us about your company. What do you do every day?
Well, it's an interesting company. We're a healthcare-based company, surgery center, and hospital company. Our business every day is taking care of people, doing surgeries on people, and taking care of them in our hospitals and surgery centers.
What kind of surgery?
A little bit of everything. Orthopedics, a knee surgery, if you need a total hip done, First Surgical can do that for you. Shoulder surgeries. We have a lot of best-of-class surgeon partners that are affiliated with us. The team doctors for all the professional teams in the city of Houston are our partners. We're very proud of that. So a little bit of everything.
Give us a little bit of your background, Tony.
My background is an operations administrator in surgical facilities. I've been doing it for about 15 years. Learned the trade in the mid-90s. Learned and realized that this was a great opportunity and a niche in a market that you could do a better job. So I met Dr. Jacob Varone, who was one of the preeminent plastic and reconstructive surgeons in the Texas Medical Center, which happens to be the world's largest medical center. I don't know a lot of people know that about Houston, Texas. And Dr. Varone and I formed a very strong bond early on, and we realized that there was a better way to deliver surgical services for different specialties of surgery. And we started that, and it's been great for we're going on our 10th operational year.
And so you're partnering with surgeons. Tell us about that business model.
It's a very unique business model in the sense that you partner with different surgeons and we recruit them to be our partners. And it's perfectly above board and legal for surgeons and physicians to have ownership in facilities. A lot of people don't know that, but there are a lot of joint ventures out there, and physicians or surgeons are partners of that. And you find them, and it's in essence they're a limited partner of a company, and it's a win-win because they're motivated to do the best job possible for a company that they believe in and they're a shareholder in. So
Right.
It works out well.
It's a great model. And you run 3 centers today, correct?
That's correct. We have 3. We have 2 ambulatory surgery centers in Houston as well as a general acute hospital in Houston.
Talk to us about the industry trends.
It's a the industry trends are very interesting from a demographic, inpatient versus outpatient. 20 years ago, the majority of us would have had surgeries, admitted into a hospital, spent the night, had your knee done, and then probably stayed 2 days in the hospital for recovery. 20 years later, you can go to an outpatient surgery center, literally roll right up to a curb, check in that morning, have your knee scoped, and be recovering on your couch by noon. So the trends are changing quite a bit in terms of how healthcare is delivered, and ASCs and First Surgical are at the leading edge of helping with that.
How do the state or federal mandates affect your business?
You know, there are some federal mandates as it relates right now. There are a lot of the Obama health care. There were some stipulations or regulations as it related to physician-owned hospitals. We're hopeful that that's going to change here this summer. But as it relates to ambulatory surgery centers, federally there are complete exemptions for surgeon partners to have ownership in surgery centers. And then at the state level, it varies a little bit. There are some states that have what are called a certificate of need or a CON, where you've got to ask for permission, if you will, from your state to build a surgical facility. Texas doesn't have a CON regulation. The state of New York does, as an example. There's some that do and some that don't. So the regulations vary from state to state throughout the country.
Okay, got it. Now, again, I want to talk about your management team. You're the CEO. Are you the guy on the ground every day, knocking on the doors, running the operation, and what does your team look like?
Good question. You would ask me, what's my day like every day? Well, I'm an operator at heart. I always will be. I go to our main office, our main center, our flagship center in Bel Air, Texas. We have an ambulatory surgery center and a hospital that are adjoined. Every day, the first thing I do is check our census. and I look at what surgeries are scheduled by which surgeons, how many surgeries do we have that day, are we staffed appropriately, check in with senior managers, formally and informally, to make sure that we have our bases covered. And then I make my rounds, just like an operator and administrator. I check with our surgeons, how's your day going? Are things, if there are issues, we troubleshoot during the day, and we continually do that. We have a senior management team. It's very narrow, not a lot of overhead at First Surgical. A couple vice presidents of operations. We have a clinical vice president, we have an operations vice president, and they all just have a day-to-day role that's very similar to mine to make sure that the product is moving forward every day.
Fantastic. How have you been growing the business, and how will you grow it over the next few years?
The goal for us is, obviously the organic growth has been important to us. We're growing the business by adding at our existing facilities new surgeon partners and new shareholders every day. We look for different specialties that maybe the margins are good from a business perspective, but also we look at where is technology going with different specialties, and we'll tend to lean towards that and develop that book of business for us going forward. We're not going to just grow organically. We also are looking for acquisitions. So it's important for us to go out and start new businesses or look to acquire existing ones that look a little bit reflective of what First Surgical is. The typical profile of that is 6 or 7 physician partners that might be in a market. They took the risk to start their own company. They started their own surgical center. They've been open 3 or 4 years now, and now they look at each other, we're making money, but where do we go from here? And First Surgical can be that add-on for them to be like-minded and grow with them going forward.
Are there certain states where the regulatory hurdles are higher, certain states that you avoid?
There are. As I mentioned before, there's certificate of need states that it can be a little bit more challenging to compete in. We also look at it from not only a regulatory checkup, if you will, but the reimbursement environment. You know, typical California is a beautiful state, but it's a very tough market to compete in from a healthcare perspective, and specifically the surgery centers. So we look and see which states are very attractive in that regard.
And right now you're focused in Texas. Any plans to go beyond Texas?
We absolutely have plans to kind of fan out from the state of Texas. Obviously, our home is in Houston. We've had de novos throughout the state over the course of our 9 years prior to being public, having ownership in different cities and regions. But for us, our growth is going to go from Texas out towards the Southwest. And it just makes sense for us right now from an infrastructure perspective, because that's where all the senior management team is right now.
Got it. Now, you went public via a reverse merger about a year ago.
That's correct.
Stock's currently trading at $1.25. We have research. We have a strong buy on this company with a $3 target, so your upside is well over 100%. I personally think our target's a little low, knowing your growth rate and knowing some of the things that are going to happen here in the future. But I think it's important for our investors to understand that this company meets all of RedChip's criteria for research coverage. Strong, focused, disciplined management team, a very large market opportunity. Net margins are very good. We look for net margins 10% or better. And we look for companies that are growing their revenues at 25% annually. And our net income, we like to see growth of 25% annually. So you are, check plus on every one of those 5 criteria. So I think, the future of your company is very, very bright. And I would encourage investors to go to redchip.com and go to our stocks tab and pull up First Surgical, read the research report, get to know this company. I personally, I think there's great value here, particularly at the current price levels. Now, what are your plans as a public company? You're on the bulletin board now. You have aspirations to get listed?
We do. Part of our plan is to go forward. We're going to hopefully do a capital raise and then also uplist to either the NYSE Amex or NASDAQ. We're still trying to determine that right now. but that will be our plan here in the very near future.
Okay. Let's talk about your revenue and earnings. Revenues are coming in over 40 million. Net income, where do you expect to come in for fiscal 2012?
Total revenues, 2011, 51 million. I think projections for 12, 55, 57 million. Net income of 8 to 10 million. So profit margins in the 12, 15 to 18% is historically what we're tracking. We hope to continue to go that in the direction that we're going right now.
Okay. And with acquisitions, obviously,
Yes.
revenues could increase more dramatically.
Haven't even talked about the acquisitions. For the most part, that growth right now is through organically.
55 million organically.
Yep.
Okay. And again, you're looking at, I believe you said 8 to 10 million net income on 55 million. Is that correct?
Yes.
So we're now looking at 18%, 17, 18% net margins.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. Tony, any closing comments today?
It's been a pleasure to be here today. I think that First Surgical Partners is a great company. We're new to the public sector, but we're a very mature company. We've been in operations for 10 years, very stable company, very little turnover in terms of senior management. We've all, for the most part, been here since day one. Myself, Dr. Verone, since 2003. Don Knight, our Chief Financial Officer, has been with us since day one. A lot of opportunity. It's a very fragmented segment of the business, and we think that we can capitalize on that and unify it and make more centers out there First Surgical.
Well, one thing we didn't talk about, you pay a dividend.
We do. We've historically paid a quarterly dividend. We haven't not missed a dividend since we've been public about 18 months or so, and our hope is to continue to do that.
And right now, at $1.25, by the way, that's a 5% dividend. Another reason to position in the stock now.
Yep, it's a great opportunity.
Tony, thanks for being here today. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Okay.
All right.
This report is not a recommendation or solicitation to purchase or sell any security, nor does it constitute investment advice. Visit RedChip.com for full financial disclosures on RedChip clients.